So now I'll go to OBS and I monitor or project this scene onto my TV. That should give me less latency. Okay. All right. So I am live. I am on.
So, what is your? Is it M3 Gaming?
Yeah. I can probably forward that to you. But yeah, it's called M3 Gaming. It's also. It should be also on my personal profile. Oh, okay. So, yeah. Oh, you check that out. I'm just gonna start up Destiny. Yeah, because reset's about to happen. Oh yeah, in like 25 minutes. It's so weird seeing myself on the game screen. Oh, that's so fucking weird. So meta or something like that. I don't know what the fuck you call it, but guess I was working on my warlock a little bit. Yeah, I can't check it on mine because I mean I guess I could look on my phone. Or no, my tablet, I mean. Just
okay. I'm trying to find you.
Yeah. I can look on my tablet real quick. I'm just gonna grab some bounties on my warlock real quick. But I mean, it should just be on my Facebook page too, right? Like, I don't know.
I'm gonna go to your Facebook.
All right. And then also Malcolm Travers on YouTube. Those are all through Restream, which I've never used before, so I don't know.
Yeah, I see you live on Facebook.
Okay, yeah. So that's through Restream. And then I should also be on my YouTube page and my Twitch, which doesn't matter because I've never used. But they're all connected. So if the Facebook is live, then the other two are live. So M3 Gaming, you should just be able to search M3 Gaming.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I gotta learn how to you did this so I can do it.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing this, man. Like I said, you're my guinea pig and my teacher as well. So.
Okay.
But yeah, like I sometimes shock myself that I'm able to do any of this. And people come to me and say, like, oh, you're so technical and all that. Like, dude, I suffer. I spent hours watching videos to figure out this little shit. It took me a week just to get this far, you know, of just like banging my head up against a wall. And the only thing, like somehow after all my banging of my head against the wall, I woke up this morning and realized like, oh, the solution was just to put everything through the HDMI cable. But now the thing I need you to test is the game chat. I need you to hop on your PlayStation and see if you can hear me there.
All right.
And I want to see if I can hear you through game chat through my headphones.
Yeah.
Grab me some bounties. It's pretty exciting though. I like this. It's like projecting me into the game a little bit. It's a little weird. Because I can see myself while I'm playing. That's a little weird. The latency isn't too bad. It's noticeable, but it's kind of giving me a little bit of a like motion sickness feeling. Which I don't know if that's good. I have to adjust to it. Plus, there's like a lot of technical stuff on the back end that I don't know much about, like frame rate and stuff like that. which is way too technical for me. But I know this game is not at 60 frames per second because I have a old PS4. I don't have a PS4 Pro, so I know a PS4 Pro I should be able to get 60 frames, which is kind of what you want to stream in. So, but yeah, I would love to do some like, especially I want to get onto Outriders, man. Like it seems to be like the hot game right now. It would be cool to like get some people to show me how to play it because I'm not a good gamer. I need baby stuff. I need to be played like I'm a 4-year-old. Like show me everything. So this is how you shoot the gun. This is how you point it. Okay. I'm that level of gamer. I'm so casual. Okay. I need to move my mouse out of the way. Okay. But now what's cool about this is because now that I'm streaming through my laptop, I can actually like zoom in on the text in the game if I want to. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just okay. How much time now? Fuck. Okay. I got 20 minutes before reset. Okay. Oh, what the fuck? Oh yeah, I should probably mute my television. That would help. Okay. Oh, let me see. What is the strike playlist looking like today? Brawler and Iron. Solar Brawler Iron. Yeah. It's going to reset in 20 minutes anyway, so I don't care. Go to the helm. Grab some bounties there before reset. I don't think there's much to do in Destiny right now. That's why I'm considering doing Outriders. There's an exotic rocket launcher in the raid I could get that I haven't, but that means doing the raid. And it's okay. You know, the raids, it's not too, if actually it's the easiest raid they've come out with since I've started playing this game. But there's just, I'm kind of spoiled because the previous raids I knew how to do inside and out. And I had a lot of time to learn it. Whereas now I don't, you know, like I can't sit in a raid for 3 hours without making any progress and feel good about it, you know, like I could do it, but I'd feel like my time could be better spent doing M3 stuff, you know, since I have so much work on my hands. Today I was working on trying to get the blog back, you know, but some person in Romania bought my domain name, so I don't have the domain Mail Media Mind anymore, and that sucks. So I think I'm just gonna go with M3 Bearcast right now, since I'm going to mostly focus on broadcasting and podcasting. So like that's fine. Plus, Mail Media Mind is a really long name. As I was trying to talk to customer service for Google, I kept having to spell that shit out, you know, and it was kind of difficult. Whereas M3 Bearcast sounds what it is. M3, everyone knows what a bear is. I guess there are two types of bear. That's the other thing. There's two types of male. There's MAIL and MALE. You know, I guess there's two types of bear. There's BARE and BEAR, but it's a little less troublesome. Fewer letters, fewer syllables, less confusion. But the major problem, however, is I already have an M3 Bearcast through Podomatic, and I have 10 episodes. But those 10 episodes are tied to the email address that is tied to my old domain. So I can't log into the account because I can't reset the password to get into the account, you know. So it's like, so I still need to get my old domain. And that's the thing. Like if I use the M3 Bearcast domain, you know, eventually I will get the M3 domain back, and then, but in the meantime, like a new podcast, it's gonna have to have a new name too. So maybe it's the only thing I can think of is if it's called M3. I don't know. I have to look it up. M3 Bearcast. Actually, you know what? I can just do that right now on my tablet. See. In Apple Podcast, because it's there. It's still on the directory, you know. I would like to redirect those 10 episodes to my new RSS feed and just build on it. But it seems like I might have to abandon them and just start a new stream or whatever. So anyway, just buying materials. Are you able to log into your PS4?
Yeah, I'm already on it.
Okay. Are you able to find me and add me? I sent you my I text you my gamer tag, yeah.
Let's make a deal.
Okay. Damn. Do I need this? I don't even know if I need this. I will buy it anyway. Okay. So it's time to pull out the iPad. Instead of jumping through menus, I use this app called Little Light to see how much materials I need to buy. Oh, okay. I just got your friend request. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I'm adding you. What? Custom lists? What's that? Okay, I guess I can do that. You're saying I can create a custom list of create. Okay, list name. I'd say like close friends. All right. Okay. Okay. So check to see where you are. Did I add you?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. So now I'm gonna go to my friends. Online friends. And I created a new list, and you're the only one on it. Perfect. Now I don't have to go through all my fucking friends list. Okay. I didn't even know you could do that. Create a friends list on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty tight. Okay, so I'm going to start a game chat. Party is now open. All right. So it is showing I do not have a microphone, which is a problem. All right. All right. I thought I did. So I'm going to have to go through. All right.
Hello?
Oh, shit. Yeah, you can probably hang up.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, you can't hear me, can you? All right. RSS feed and just build on it. But it seems like I might have to abandon them and just start a new stream or whatever. You're going to probably have to turn the volume down. So anyway, slide materials. Are you able to log into your PS4?
Yeah, I'm already on it.
Okay. Are you able to find me and add me? It's so meta. Okay, let me turn that down a little bit.
That's backwards, but that's okay.
Okay. I'm going to turn down the audio. Okay. How do I get a microphone here? Oh, yeah. Devices. Audio devices. Input device. Oh, okay. Can you hear me now? Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, make sure you turn down the volume on the stream.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Good.
I just took it off. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right. Awesome sauce. So is my audio to you clear?
Yeah.
It is? Okay. All right.
Like I can hear you. Yeah.
Is it too loud, too soft? Is it okay? Do I need to change it?
It sounds perfectly fine to me. You might want to but decrease it like
A little
bit.
Okay. That's what I need to know. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go to settings. And where do I go? That's good. I was afraid it would be too soft. That's probably why it's too loud. All right. All right. Devices. Audio devices. Okay. Maybe it's in the microphone. I don't know where it is. Sound. Gain control. Okay. Controllers. Bluetooth. That is not what I'm looking for. Audio devices. Microphone. That does not give me volume though. Oh, there it is. Adjust microphone volume. Turn it down some. Microphone volume. Turn it down some. Okay. Oh yeah, I can see the waveform here. Oh yeah, I can see the waveform. Is that better? Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. All right. So that was about it. I don't know what else to do. That's all I was doing. But yeah, as you can see, there's a huge
Okay.
delay in the amount of time from the stream, in live. And I don't know. I don't plan on really engaging in the chat, but if I needed to, I guess I could bring it up on my tablet here. Let me see. But then, okay. Yeah. And I don't know if I get any chat in StreamYard. I guess it's where, I don't know. That's kind of an issue. But anyway, I can try out Outriders, although I haven't fully downloaded it yet. And I'm just chilling. I'm not really doing anything. So what setup did you want to do for your gaming?
You said what setup did I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Practically the same that you did.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't have a capture card. I think that's my issue. I don't have a capture card.
Okay.
Even though they say you can do it without one.
Right. Yes.
But I think that's probably a big issue for me is that I don't have a capture card.
Right. But I do think that remote play thing would work. I mean, that's sort of complicated. I'll look up some.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the way remote play works, I couldn't get mine to work because of the password. I don't understand that. I downloaded the remote play software and then I opened it up to connect. But I think there's a setting in your settings to like activate remote play. You get a code. You put the code into your laptop. And then from there you have a window that is you playing your PS4 on your computer. And I believe the way that someone explained it to me was you want to have two different PS4 accounts on your PS4. So your main account, the one that you're going to play on, that's the one you do not connect to your PlayStation. If that makes sense. So you connect your alternate account to your laptop, but then you play your game through your PlayStation. So, I have that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have an alternate account, and that one you would stream through and you could still see it and use that window in OBS to create a scene, because that's all OBS does is collects all of the inputs from your computer, creates a scene however you want, and then from there you can push it out however you want. So like in OBS, you would take the scene from your remote play, then you take your webcam and you put that over your gameplay, or however you want it to. So like one of the guys was telling me like he creates different scenes for different things when he's streaming. So like you'll have a gameplay scene, which would be similar to what I'm doing right now. But then he might have a question and answer scene, which he would take the same inputs, create a different scene where like he's bigger, and then there's like a window for his chat and like some graphics or whatever. And then, maybe the gameplay is in a smaller window or something. And in OBS, you can switch between the scenes easily, just click a button and you switch between this scene and that scene, But all the scenes are built through inputs that are in your computer. And I believe that remote play thing could be one of them. So I guess the first thing, have you tried the remote play on your laptop?
I've tried it in some instances I've tried it and it'll disconnect after a while too. So I don't know why that's been happening. I've been having issues.
Oh, okay. How are you connected to the internet?
Even I had issues with remote play.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm hardwired.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. I would hope that both your laptop and your PS4 are hardwired. because I was
Mhm.
surprised at how much that helps. It helps so much. I'm just gonna play some battlegrounds while we talk. What am I doing? I'm on. Yeah, I don't even know what bounties I have or anything. But I figure if I'm streaming, I might as well be playing. I got solar, machine gun, pulse rifle. At least I'll get that one done. Pulse rifle and solar. What do I have over here? My hammer has. That's perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna use 20 gold to socket a medallion. All right. Yeah. So there's that. I mean, the streaming, what I had envisioned for the streaming is just to, since I play games, to use this as another way of connecting with people. And like I said, this is going to my personal YouTube channel as well as the M3 Gaming Facebook and then my personal Facebook.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's some delay. Seriously, playing like this is kind of difficult. There's a delay in my audio too. Holy shit. Yeah, this is going to be funky as fuck. So that's my next step. I need to put that on my list of things to actually make this more playable. Yeah, this is funky. Fuck, I'm kind of dizzy. But yeah, let me back this microphone out because I don't think it has to be as close. Okay. Yeah, so I got to work on the latency here. It's like the latency, the audio is way worse than the video. So weird. Or maybe it's the same and I just can tell. I don't know. I mean, I'm able to play, but it's just so weird. I will be a liability to anyone if I'm on a team or something. Yeah. But what I heard was, I guess I'm going to do some research. I heard that you have to like enable your graphics card in a certain way or something. Assuming that my laptop even has a decent graphics card. Like that should help. I do love this game though. Oh my god, I love this. I don't know. Why I love this game so much. But I heard Outriders is kind of like a mix between Destiny and Gears of War, kind of. And I saw some of the gameplay, and I was playing a GM Nightfall the other day, and one of our partners just said, "Yeah, it's like Destiny on crack." Well, that sounds pretty good. And I think a couple of friends of Jose are playing it already, so it's like, okay, maybe they can like school me on some of this shit. Looks like they have world tiers and stuff, so I could start on easy, but on easy you don't get the good loot. So but at least give me a introduction to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I love having like tiers of difficulty. That was one of the issues that Destiny had early on, is that there's still no real world tour tiers like in the open world, but like in some of the activities there are.
So you said some of the activities where now?
No, I was saying on in Destiny, the activities like the Nightfalls have tiers of difficulty. Like maybe 5 tiers, and the tier 5 is like fucking ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a friend on here who plays tier 5 like it's tier 1. You know? So like, and he's super humble about it. I have no idea why, because he's just, whenever we play, it's a 3-man activity. He always has more kills than the other 2 people combined all the time. Like, it's just a given. I remember one time I got within 2 kills of him and I felt accomplished. I was like, he still beat me. But it's like he had 2 more kills. I was like, oh my God, what was going on? He just murders everything. Like, someone else in my clan was like, y'all was killers. I was like, I don't want to meet y'all in real life. Y'all just be murdering.
Like, he's just killing all of us. He's just killing everybody.
It's like a fucking killing machine, yeah, like a Terminator. Like, objective complete. He's just like super calm, like while stroking his fluffy cat. He's like, what are you talking about? This isn't even hard. I was like, oh, that's a little crazy, but awesome. And you know, he's really he helps me through this game a lot. Like, there are certain dungeons that are supposed to be 3-man that he solos all the time. You know, he doesn't even ask anyone to help, but sometimes he'll send me an invite. Well, you know, I'm just standing in the tower, which is, you know, the public area, you know, dealing with my loot and stuff. And he'll send me an invite. He's soloing the thing. I don't have to do anything. I just stand there and, you know, he'll do all the work and I get free loot. Although I do help. I don't just stand there and get loot. But I don't have to do anything because he's soloing it anyway, you know. I'm just like, I wouldn't solo that for nothing. That to me is a headache. I could, and I have done it one time just for the triumph, you know, because there's a triumph to solo these things. He does it on a regular basis, like once a week, because every week you can solo it, or, you know, when you complete it, you get a random gear drop, you know, for each encounter. And, you know, so they just drop some new loot in these encounters. So he's running through them. This dungeon is like 2 years old now, but they put new loot in it. So that's why he goes through it. So it's a lot easier now than when it first came out, because power creep, you know what I mean? Like, the weapons we have now are so much better than the weapons when it first dropped. And so by definition, it's just easier. But yeah, anyway. So when I soloed it, it was a lot more difficult than it is now, but still difficult. It's still difficult. You don't just go solo a dungeon. The one I was thinking of was called the Shattered Throne, and it's like this weird, like, upside down world, you know, where everything's like dark and broken, and, you know, everything's in shadow. So like, you could just be walking around a corner and something just boop you off the side and you die. And like, and if you're by yourself, you just have to start over. And I'm like, I'm not doing that shit. I did that once.
Yep.
Like, if you just bring one person in, you don't have to start over because they can revive you. You know, so that's kind of what I do when he's basically soloing it. I'm there to revive him in case he dies, which of course he doesn't. He doesn't die. He made this crazy ass build, like a tank build, that is amazing. I'm surprised he came up with it. So there's this gun that gives you an overshield, basically like doubles your health while you're shooting it. The only problem is you move really, really slow. I mean, that's what a tank does. It's slow. You got an overshield. But then he combined it with this exotic armor piece. It gives him another overshield, and apparently they stack multiplicative rather than additive. So he basically has like 10 times the health of a normal person. And of course, he just, you know, goes through and, like, you know, he's slow, but he gets it all done, you know. Just doesn't have to worry about dying. Well, you know, Of course, he doesn't have to use the gun that gives him the
Yeah.
overshield either. That's because you have to have ammo for that gun to get that overshield. So it's a little nuance to it. It's not just that simple, but plus it has to ramp up, so you have to shoot like half a magazine before the overshield comes up. But that's kind of like if you're in a really tough spot, you switch to that gun to get extra overshield. And then the other overshield he gets from his armor piece is also on a cooldown, so you can't always have the overshield. It's like it lasts 20 seconds and then it's like on a 40-second cooldown. So it's just, when you need an overshield, he has two different ways of getting one. And yeah. Anyway, it was a pretty cool build. I was just like, oh, I never even thought about that because I hate that gun. How slow it makes you run, and I hate the overshield from the other one because it makes you run so slow and you can't jump and shit. I'm like, but he makes it work. I don't know. I tend to run like healer builds, I guess, like team. So that's kind of what I'm running right now. My grenades deal a lot of damage over time, so they don't have to be like direct damage. So I can just toss a grenade out. It'll last for like 8 seconds and do like almost like a 10-meter radius of damage. And then if I hold the grenade button, it turns it into like what's called divine protection, gives you an overshield for a short period of time. And it's for you and your allies, so you can run over it. The overshield isn't that good, though. It immediately heals you and gives you a slight overshield. And then the exotic gauntlet that I'm wearing, if I melee an enemy, I get 5 grenades back to back. And I can choose whether, I'll make 1 a healing grenade and 5. Or I could just do 4. I could do like 1 healing grenade and then 3 damage grenades and keep my 5th grenade so that I can have it in case I need it. But you have 5 grenades back to back. You have like 10 seconds to use them. I love that gauntlet. It's called Sunbracers. It's really fun. So OP. It's like you have like an ultimate ability just from your melee. It's like 5 grenades. These grenades are probably some of the best in the game too. All you have to do is get an enemy weak. So that's the other thing. The only way you get those 5 grenades is if you actually kill an enemy with your melee. It's not dealing damage with it. So you got to get an enemy weak first. And that's the downside is because your melee isn't that strong and you have to be up close. So you get an enemy weak. If you see they're weak, you can run up to them, punch them in the face, and you get 5 grenades. Then your ultimate ability, you can choose between like 3 different ones. But I choose this one. It's called Well of Radiance, which gives you like basically like a little healing pool. It's basically a sword. You stick into the ground, and like for a 15-meter radius around the sword, you have protection basically, and you get extra damage. That lasts about 30 seconds. And then like one of the things built into that subclass is like when anyone stands inside my well, basically anytime I empower or heal another player, I get extra bonus energy. So it gives me the incentive to heal my teammates and stuff. And if anyone stands in my well, I also get that, because that's counting as helping them. So I have someone else running the same build in this activity. I'm playing Battlegrounds right now. It's one of the new activities that came out this season. It's pretty fun. I've played it so much that this is also the entrance to the new Grandmaster Nightfall. Like in this activity, you're just outside the tank, but in the Grandmaster Nightfall, you go inside there where this guy is. It's called the Proving Grounds. It's pretty fun. The final boss room is fucking stupid. Straight up stupid. Like when he comes out, like you put your token in the hammer approving or whatever, and the boss comes out, you get all your abilities and ammo, and the first thing he does is shoot like 20 fireballs at you, each of which could kill you instantly. It's just like, welcome to death. Let's go. It's like, oh my god. And you're like, hello. And then like if you do something wrong, like there's certain areas in the board where if you stand there, he will just spam those fireballs all day. Now there are certain like abilities
I'm
that you can,
sure he will.
yeah. There are certain abilities that can block them, and there are certain weapons that can kill them. So you have those two options. You can block the fireballs, or you can kill them. The only problem is, of course, the cooldown on those abilities and the ammo for those weapons. So you got to be real clear that you have one or the other. And that was where the fun came in, is like managing all of that while these other enemies like that are called like champions. They have these ones that are called unstoppable champions, and they live up to their name. They just, if you don't kill them, they will kill you. So mostly you run from them until you can kill them.
Like,
yeah.
Yes, it's like a do or die situation.
Right. And then there are like certain so there's like certain players will have ability to stun unstoppables. And what that requires is that you aim your gun down sights for like 2 or 3 seconds. So you're kind of vulnerable while you aim your gun because you can't fire it. You just have to aim. And then your gun begins to glow. And once you have that glow, you can shoot the unstoppable and it will stun it for 5 seconds, which will give you enough time to actually kill it, if you all team shoot at the same time. Like you gotta coordinate with your team after you stun the champion. But of course, there's like 4 or 5 champions in there. So which one do you kill first? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like, oh my god, it's fun. It was a lot of fun.
I got you.
Yeah.
But I got to get ready to do something.
All right.
So I'm about to go for a little while.
Yeah. No, thanks for helping me out, and I will definitely get back with you about your stream, and I'll send you some videos.
Okay.
We'll see about how you can get your stream going. All right, man. Thanks.
All right, sir. Well, I will holler at you later.
All right, later. Peace.
All right.
All right. I wonder how I'll get this through PlayStation, but
I would not be surprised if there were just as many guardians who are responsible.
okay.
Guardians so similar. I think people with convictions.
This is so weird. Okay.
The cabal who defied the ceasefire are the worst of them. They cling to desperate hopes of victory and glory.
Oh man. Oh, okay. Resets happen. There's definitely a more pronounced delay in my audio. So that is going to be my next look. Okay, yeah. My next YouTube search. So that's a little disappointing. I'll listen to some news while I deal with my inventory.
It's simple, but it's hard to do. Again, it comes with its own little spoon, little plate. You can dip it the way you want. Too much cheese on it, you shake some of it off. You can dip it in salsa. I'm gonna go with the nachos.
Okay, I have a question. This is the championship bracket, so I need more details. Are these nachos that have meat with it? Like, are these loaded nachos, or are these just the nasty
Loaded.
all that cheese
Loaded.
nachos?
I think we got them loaded. I think we got to assume
They're loaded.
They're loaded.
Okay, that
Check it
changes
loaded.
things. Maybe it's not all that cheese. Maybe it's all that cheese and sour cream and ground turkey and all of
Yes.
that. Is that what we're saying?
You heard that, right, Jason? That she put ground
I did
turkey.
hear it. Ground turkey. I once again went for the healthiest option available. That's why Renee Montgomery is a
turkey.
two-time
You're trying to-
WNBA champion.
You're trying to pig out, and all of a sudden there's ground turkey coming on these nachos.
I know my weaknesses. Okay, so
I just on your worst day, that is my best day food-wise. That's what we're discovering. Your cheat day is my being as good as I can be.
only when it comes to food, I'm like, blame it on the sports.
I love it. That was so exciting.
What are
look,
y'all's answers though? What
Nachos wins.
nachos?
Nachos wins.
Okay. Whose pick was nachos? Whose snacky was that?
I think that's Jason.
Was
I think
Jason? Was it
Jason
Jason versus
That was mine.
Jason in the championship?
It was. I didn't want
It
to bring
was.
that up because I have so much respect for my competitors.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm a complete competitor, so I had to know whose food won. Oh my god!
Listen, here's Renee. Obviously, let's face it. You brought apples, mangoes to a snack competition. While that means you clearly lost this, it does mean you're winning in every other way possible.
yes, winning life.
Renee and Jason, this was so much fun. Thank you so much for being here. Renee, the competitive spirit in your eyes, you're so mad. I can
am.
see it. I love it.
I could have made up snacks if I knew this was the case. Okay.
No, this is better. I like it. I think it's better. I think the truth is better. To everybody, check out Take Line. It is an incredible show. You will love it. And Renee and Jason, thank you so much. When we come back, I had a great conversation about infrastructure and one of the most important aspects of infrastructure we never talk about with a mathematician and expert, Alon Levy. Take normal human struggles and think shame, really. If it's for you, because you are going to have to get themselves, want sites to think you're low. Yeah, that is a good time. This works with taunt us at check, and usually it's
out in some random person.
mathematician turned mass transit expert. Please welcome Alon Levy. Good to see you.
Great to see you too. Thanks for having me here.
Okay, so on Thursday in a press conference, President Biden took questions on a host of issues, but he talked about infrastructure. He said it's the next major initiative of the administration. There is a multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure plan in the works. As an expert, as a researcher, does this excite you? Does this get your blood pumping? Are you pumped?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited to see what useful spending could be had on this, especially when people are talking about, I guess in the United States, you say Green New Deal. Here in Europe, we say Green Deal, about using infrastructure to invest in things that are not just pipelines and more highways, but also in things that enable a prosperous green transition.
Pete Buttigieg, who's now Secretary of Transportation, he's been saying good things in terms of moving away from the primacy of cars and how we think about infrastructure investments. One thing that you've written about that I think is really important, we talk a lot about the need to invest in infrastructure, but not a lot about how we do it. Can you talk a little bit about this core problem that the United States has of the price of the projects when we do finally invest in them?
Yeah, there's this big and unfortunately growing problem in the United States. So I'm familiar predominantly with public transportation infrastructure. The cost of that in the United States is very high by global standards. So the example that kind of started all of this was when I was living in New York, and I was kind of curious about the idea of expanding the subway system so that it would be able to get to more places, so there would be better connections. At the time, they started building Second Avenue Subway Phase 1, and the cost of that project, about $1.7 billion per kilometer. I think it's $2.7 billion per mile. And I thought, okay, it's expensive. New York is an expensive city. It's a big, expensive city. And then I started poking around other cities, and I realized, no, actually, if you look at, for example, Paris, okay, so also a large expensive city, a very high wage. It has a lot of older infrastructure. Actually, the lines that they've been building recently are more complicated than Second Avenue subway. Same thing with London, Tokyo, Madrid, Milan, Berlin, Seoul. And they noticed that nothing costs as much as in New York. So this turned 10 years later into the transit infrastructure project. And it's on www.transitcosts.com, where we have this database of hundreds of subways. It's almost every subway built in the world since 2000. And the 5 most expensive lines in the database are exactly the 5 that are in New York. Hardly anyone goes over $1 billion per kilometer. The global median for subways, not elevated lines, is about 250.
So we're at 7 times roughly, or 8 times roughly.
Yeah, New York. Yeah, New York is. The rest of the United States, and they thought, okay, that's just a New York problem, because maybe in the 2000s it looked like Los Angeles was not such a bad thing, but it is. The costs in Los Angeles have exploded in the last 10 years. California high-speed rail, which in 2008 seemed pretty reasonable, costs more per kilometer of line than the average French high-speed train. But yeah, California has mountains to cross. That seemed reasonable. Since then, the cost overruns have led to much higher unit costs. And even the supposedly easier parts of California in the Central Valley cost a lot more than they should. I think maybe 1.5 or 2 times as much.
We claim we want to build this high-speed rail line between Northern California and Southern California, connect San Francisco to Los Angeles, San Diego. And then it spends a decade not happening. And then the plan gets restricted. And now what we're left with is a train that connects Bakersfield and Merced to basically a tiny portion of what they had planned to build. And there are many issues around infrastructure where you can blame partisan politics, Democrats versus Republicans underfunding thing, but that's not what's going on here, right? Like this isn't exclusively an issue about Democrats versus Republicans.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe if we have time for this later, there is a part where you can blame Republicans, but I'm
excited about that. Yeah, we can get to that.
But
That's cool.
It's a very subtle thing. It's not like, let's say, Bush is full of cronies or Trump is full of cronies. It's something a lot subtler than that. But I don't even think that they had this in California. In California, it's just the agency didn't really look very hard about how to build high-speed rail. They were the sort of people who visit Europe for a couple of days or visit Japan for a couple of days and say, oh, we like these trains, let's have them at home, which is completely valid. It's just that the follow-through was something very different. The planning was not done based on any kind of global best practices. And the result is that the costs ended up being really high. And this kind of killed high-speed rail in America. I mean, not forever. I mean, they can do a restart right now. I hope they do. But it says a lot that they're talking about restarting in Texas between Dallas and Houston. Now, Dallas and Houston are both enormous cities, but kind of like the most important high-speed rail line in America is not Dallas to Houston. It's Boston to New York to Washington.
Yeah.
And that's just not happening so far, unfortunately.
You look at some of these distances, right? Like, Madrid and Barcelona can be connected, serves far fewer people than, say, San Francisco to Los Angeles, far fewer people than New York to Boston or DC to Boston.
Yep.
It gets to be a technical question, even just about how we bid out these contracts. And in other countries, they have standards that are different than just cost, right? It's like, you don't just give a contract to the person who says, I'll build you a train for the cheapest price. You say they have to have a good plan. They have to have a good time frame for how to do it. They have to have real oversight. And ironically, in our projects get extremely overpriced, in part because somebody just submits a low bid that they'll never be able to ever fulfill. There's nobody who catches that early. They get the contract, and then lo and behold, they can't meet any of their deadlines. They can't do any of the things they said they would.
The weight is generally higher in lower cost countries. Again, it is not exclusive, and sometimes contracts are done low bid, but it's more common to do maybe 50-50. I've heard even 60-40 where the technical score is 60%. There's something that I think is exclusive to Madrid, which is that they do 50% technical, 30% price, 20% speed, so how fast you can build it. In Madrid, they believe that you should work fast. This is not universal to the low-cost world. So, for example, France is a medium-cost country. Early on, when we were building the database, the median project in cost per kilometer was actually the Grand Paris Express project. They're building a 200-kilometer automated suburban metro system, which they're capable of doing, first of all, because Paris is an enormous city, so this is the right scale for Paris, and second, because their costs are not so high.
So some of this is like differences in the systems. We have an adversarial system.
Yeah.
There's lawsuits that slows things down. There are these kind of built-in hurdles that we have that are hard to mount, even with really expert, professional, hard-charging public servants who take this on and want to solve this problem. But like part of it is about rewarding, investing, celebrating, having a culture of excellence amongst the kinds of people that don't often get attention. Public planners, people inside the government, the person who oversees the private contract, the person who's excited about this and goes to Rome and is like, how the fuck did you build a subway next to the Colosseum? Or like goes to France and is like, how did you manage to build a new subway line when there's so many historic buildings right above you? Like, how much of this is that problem of just not having years of drained public agencies, years of underfunded these things?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How do we address that piece of it?
So I promised that there would be a slight slag on Republicans.
Good. Great.
In Massachusetts, there's this kind of privatization of the state trend that began in the United Kingdom and in the United States. In the United Kingdom, they had a more intact civil service to privatize. In the United States, in many ways, it never did the kind of civil service building that was done in Europe in the post-war era. And mind you, even then, American costs were elevated. It was in the 1930s already. New York was building at a factor of 4 premium relative to London and Paris. Then things exploded. So they would kind of privatize government contracts to PPPs, to public-private partnerships, on the idea that the private sector is more efficient than the public sector, which, by the way, in the United States, it's very clearly true that the public sector is less efficient. The private sector is more efficient. The problem is privatization is a government program. If you can't do government programs, you cannot privatize. Something they call prudence theater, where you say, oh, we can't give you this is too much, let's make this program smaller. So because of this mentality, which again, in Massachusetts, you can kind of see where Charlie Baker did this, and then it continued when the governor was a Democrat, when it was Deval Patrick. There was kind of reticence to fund the head office correctly. It gets to the point that at the head office, public sector workers are underpaid relative to market wages. The salary of a project manager in the Boston private sector in transportation is $140-something thousand a year. Boston is a very wealthy city. Project manager is a senior title. Yes, this is how much senior people get paid in such cities, but the MBTA does not pay 140-something. The MBTA pays, I think, 106 or 108. I forget which.
Right. So what you're saying, right, is that like, okay, you want a private company to bid and build something. Yeah. But if you're going to do that, then you need to measure twice, cut once, invest in the people, have talented, smart, proactive leaders in the government who are rewarded for being creative, being innovative, figuring out problem solving.
Yeah, exactly.
To oversee the projects from inside the government. And we don't have that.
So for example, when you do various ways of doing contracting, I recently talked to someone handling procurement on some of the pieces of the subway expansion in Stockholm. Sweden is one of the lowest cost countries in the world to build things in, which you might not expect because Sweden is a very expensive country in general.
And just sorry to interrupt, and they have environmental standards. They have labor standards. They have
stronger unions. They have
stronger unions.
Yeah. So my understanding is that it's much less adversarial. But the point I'm making is that in Stockholm, I was asking, okay, how do you handle design and construction? And I was told that design is mostly done in-house. Sometimes they supplement it with consultants, but it is done in-house. So they contract out the construction. Now, the construction will also include some design modifications. This is always really important. The thing that murders California is the change order. Because if you ask the former CEO of Madrid Metro, Manuel Melis Maynar, again, Madrid is probably the lowest cost city in the world for this. I believe that he said that there is no such thing as 100% design underground. There are always tiny geotechnical surprises. There's always something that delays the project by a week. That's fine. It's a week. It's not a big thing. You just need to make sure it's priced in so that it's not going to reopen negotiations and lead to a lot of contention.
What does it look like to see President Biden, to see our country take this seriously?
So Bill Clinton said something in the 1990s that is incorrect. He said that there is nothing wrong with America that can't be fixed with what is right in America. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem. Americans understand that the United States functions decently well about many things. And this includes people who maybe exaggerate the extent to which Europe works in general, that they think that maybe because Europe has better healthcare, it's better at everything. Even people like that understand that the United States is a very strong private sector and they try to maybe bring it in. But the private sector does different things than infrastructure. There's kind of curiosity that is still unfortunately kind of lacking, where there's this idea that no, the United States really is not the frontier of this. The United States needs to understand how to import and implement foreign expertise. And you don't do this by privatizing the state, even to a foreign corporation. So you don't privatize the state. You need to have this expertise in the public sector. This is something that Spain did. Spain self-flagellates all the time. People in Spain understand that people in Germany and France live better than they do. So what does Spain do in the 1980s as it joins the European Union? It goes to France because they see, oh, France has these really cool high-speed trains. Let's import that. They go to Germany because certain systems within Germany, they understand even then, work better than in France. So they figure out how to combine these systems, and that's how they build Spanish high-speed rail. They're constantly curious about what goes on elsewhere in Europe. I might even add, the places in Europe that have nationally connected high-speed rail networks tend to be the ones that look up to France, like Spain and Italy, whereas Germany, which looks down on France, never built that. Germany has very good intercity rail, but it's not high-speed rail. Germany has kind of, let's call it medium-speed rail, maybe a few high-speed bypasses, but it's very different. And even the things that France does better than Germany,
You can't see it. emotionally. They can't allow it.
Yeah, the Germans can't think, oh, let's learn from Italy. Germans think that Italy is for pizza and vacations, and Spain is good for vacations. There's no idea that they should learn from Southern European engineering. Infrastructure is a failure of the United States, and you need to understand that you're not at the frontier, and you need to imitate and not say, oh, let's just give it to Elon Musk. Elon Musk, I mean, he's not an American, but he's lived in America since like age 20. His business culture is American.
That's what I was going to, that was my last. So you don't think the Hyperloop is going to get it done? You don't think that that's
No.
the solution?
I mean, if we're talking about vaccines in general, like Hyperloop or similar things, in 100 years, sure. In 50 years, maybe. In 10 years, no, forget about it. It's not a mature technology. When you're at the frontier, progress is incredibly difficult.
I want a train from Los Angeles to San Francisco. That's what I want. It seems like it makes a ton of sense.
It makes a ton of sense. It's just the California High-Speed Rail Authority, they need to understand how it's being done elsewhere. And like even little things, especially in the Bay Area, were done without understanding how these standards work. For example, in Europe, they had agency turf battles that led to proposals to put tracks underground in the suburbs of San Francisco when there's plenty of room for everything. It would require cutting BART, so it would require cutting the subway. They said $500 million, but somehow it mushroomed, I think, to $1.5 billion. Now, $1.5 billion is not most of the cost of it, but it's a lot of it is little things like this, or they had oversized viaducts in the Central Valley for no good reason.
I like the level of detail that you have
Thanks.
on every single project that you have brought up. I like that.
But I mean, it's actually something that I think is good right now is that a lot of urban transit agencies, the technical teams for anything that interfaces with apps seem to be very solid.
Okay.
A lot of front end stuff like communicating information to passengers about where the trains go, that seems rather solid in New York. You have these dynamic maps.
Terrific. We have apps to tell people that we don't have enough trains going to nearly enough places, and we never will.
I know, that is a problem. Yeah, you need reliable trains, you need reliable buses. Let's not neglect buses, please. You need systems that connect. And it's not just physical infrastructure, it's the frustrating thing. It's everything surrounding it. So for example, it's the timetable. So you've built your rail network. How are you going to timetable so that people can connect between two cities that are maybe not on the same line? How are you going to make it so that people can connect between the buses and the trains? The buses and the trains are not generally planned in coordination except within central cities. So if you're trying to get between, let's say, a point within Worcester and Boston, if you're in downtown Worcester, there's a train. If you're not in downtown Worcester, there's a bus that takes you to downtown Worcester. But that bus is going to be on a separate fare system from the train. It's going to be on a separate timetable. You can't connect.
All right, here's what we've learned today. We got a lot of problems we got to work on, and we got to send some city planners and some public officials. They got to go to Spain. They got to go to France. They got to go to Italy. They have to take notes. They have to come back, and we have to pay them more.
Yeah, and they got to go to Sweden, and it cannot be just a 3-day docket trip in which you only talk to the managers. It has to be a longer thing.
Get in the weeds.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, there are exchange programs between railroads. I don't know if the United States participates in them, but I know that there are between various European ones and also between Europe and Japan.
All right, yeah, let's get some of those. Let's get some of these French and Spanish and Italian and Swiss and German and Swedish experts. Let's get them in here.
Yeah, you can hire them.
Alon Levy, thank you so much. It was great to talk to you. And I hope we can find ways to get people interested in this topic because, we're going to talk about this big infrastructure package, but if we don't figure out how to do this better, it doesn't matter what we spend. We will not be able to have the trains, planes, and automobiles we want. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Alon Levy for joining us. When we come back, we'll end on a high note.
Don't go anywhere. This is Love It or Leave It, and there's more on the way.
And we're back because we need it this week. Here it is, the high note.
Hi, Love It. My name is Jack, and my high note for this week is that I am financially secure. After not receiving unemployment for 7 months, I was very nervous that I was about to return to homelessness. And finally, the government came through. I've been able to pay off the end of my lease and put down money on my new apartment, get out of debt, and still have a little nest egg to make sure that I'll be secure for the near future. I couldn't be more relieved. Have a great day, folks.
Hey there. My high note is all about my wife, Clarity, because not only did she just get her first vaccine, and not only are we celebrating our 10-year anniversary, both of which are high notes, the thing that really gives me hope is that she also just saw her 8th student pass the citizenship exam and become a U.S. citizen. She's been working with an amazing program in West Liberty, Iowa for 5 years, teaching English and civics and helping folks navigate this absurd system. And I'm so proud of her for continuing to do it. Even when classes had to be canceled by COVID, she found ways to keep connecting with her students so that they could continue their process. And then she expanded her mission, walking Spanish speakers through the registration and absentee voting process, and just making sure that any new citizens could vote in November. So just want to shout her out for giving many of us hope here. And thanks so much for everything you do.
Hey, John, this is Josh calling from my car in Lakewood, Colorado. It's really hard to have a high note this week after the tragedy our community suffered yesterday, but I do want to celebrate my wife. This fall, we welcomed our first child, and since then, my wife's been working from home to finish her dissertation in hydrology while trying to wrangle a 6-month-old baby. She's about to defend her PhD in about an hour. I'm so proud of her, and I know she's going to pass. So I'm walking into my King Soopers right now to buy her some flowers, and today we're going to celebrate her. But tomorrow, we're going to use the energy we have and get back to protesting, to donating, organizing, and doing what we can to make sure that our daughter grows up in a world safe from gun violence. I hope you and yours are well, and you have a great week.
Hi, love it. This is Tim from Buffalo, New York. Our high note for the week, my wife and I, we are celebrating the 1-year anniversary of adopting our pandemic puppy. He's a lovely little ball of fluff, half Pyrenees mix. And my wife got her first vaccine shot, and I am getting mine today. So that's what we got. Love the show. Thanks.
Thanks everybody who called in. The high notes have been incredible. If you want to leave us a message about something that gave you hope, call 213-262-4427. Thank you to Danielle Perez, Jason Concepcion, Renee Montgomery, Alon Levy, and everybody who called in. There are 591 days until the 2022 midterm election, and we got elections in 2021, all right? We got a lot of elections coming up. So, focus on that too, and have a great weekend. Love It or Leave It is a Crooked Media production. It is written and produced by me, John Lovett, Lee Eisenberg, Jocelyn Kaufman, Pallavi Gunalan, and Peter Miller are the writers. Our assistant producer is Sydney Rapp. Bill Lance is our editor, and Kyle Seglin is our sound engineer. Our theme song is written and performed by Sure. Thanks to our designers, Jesse McLean and Jamie Skeel, for creating and running all of our visuals, which you can't see because this is a podcast, and to our digital producers, Nar Melkonian and Milo Kim, for filming and editing video each week so you can.
Hi, it's Anna Marie Cox from With Friends Like These. We're doing a series of episodes exploring reconciliation and forgiveness between people, between races, between countries, in marriages, in the criminal justice system, and even what it would mean to reconcile our relationship to the planet. And a small spoiler, that might be one of the trickier ones. With Friends Like These, seeking forgiveness wherever you get your podcast.
Hey, it's Erin Ryan, host of the Crooked Media podcast Hysteria. All month long, we're going to be more hysterical than ever, speaking with guests like Jen McClellan and Jennifer Carroll Foy, 2 women who are running for governor of Virginia. Plus, you'll meet some new people. I'd tell you who, but I don't want to ruin the Women's History Month surprise. You can join me, Alyssa Mastromonaco, and the incredible ladies you know and love every Thursday. Listen and subscribe to Hysteria on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
You're listening to the Now This Brief.
Brought to you by TurboTax Tips. From deductions to dependents, audits to IRAs, get expert tips that can help you this tax season. It's the info you need in just 5 minutes or less. Just search TurboTax Tips wherever you listen to podcasts.
Here are the top stories you need to know today, Friday, April 2nd. The murder trial against former officer Derek Chauvin resumes for a half day today, 5 days into witness testimony. Yesterday, for the first time, someone close to George Floyd testified. His girlfriend, Courtney Ross, cried throughout much of her testimony, explaining how they first met, their dates, and love for good food. Ross humanized the man whose name has become a chant at rallies around the world. In one exchange, she called him a mama's boy, who was devastated when his mother passed away.
He seemed kind of like a shell of himself, like he was broken. He seemed so sad. He didn't have the same kind of bounce that he had. He was devastated. He loved his mom so much, and I knew that. He talked about her all the time.
Prosecutors also got very personal with Ross, asking her about how she and Floyd had become addicted to painkillers.
Both Floyd and I, our story, it's a classic story of how many people get addicted to opioids. We both suffered from chronic pain. Mine was in my neck and his was in his back. We both had prescriptions, but after prescriptions that were filled, and we got addicted and tried really hard to break that addiction many times.
Legal experts say that this strategy was to personalize Floyd's story while preventing Chauvin's defense team from attacking Floyd's character. The court also heard from a former police supervisor who said that Chauvin should have stopped kneeling on Floyd once he stopped resisting. Several paramedics explained the moments in which they arrived on the scene to find Floyd without a pulse and their attempts to revive him. EMT Seth Zachary Bravender said that multiple officers were still on top of Floyd when paramedics arrived on the scene, and that Floyd appeared to be unresponsive. Orange County Police in California clarified that Wednesday night's shooting at a real estate office was not a random act of violence. Police also claim the suspect in the shooting knew the 4 victims he killed, including a 9-year-old boy. District Attorney Todd Spitzer says it appears the child died in his mother's arms and that she was an employee of the real estate company. She survived and is recovering at a local hospital.
I'm signing off.
We're going to do everything in our power in the Orange County District Attorney's Office to get justice